Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back here at Rush Racing League Division 3. Sorry about the desync issue problems, but we're back, China.
We are back. Looks like I got the same desync issues I got in the race last night.
Doesn't like you, mate. Roll on
It's always
F125.
a bit of fun.
It is, yeah, it is. It's all good. I'll let you do most of the talking tonight, but we've got with Petit Russian, Plugger are your top three at the moment. We've got RJ in at P4, then we've got Sibi in P5, Joyful in P6, Hennessy in P7, Arcade Gaming in P8, Cooper Bot really going to go for a move there on Arcade Gaming for that P8 spot there. It looks like to get the move done on into Stowe, round the outside, Arcade goes round the inside there. Lovely little bit of overtaking there on lap 7 out of 52. Then we got Angus down there in P10, Dido in P11, Terence in P12, Squash in P13. Hopefully he's back in the lobby. Then we've got Franz, Jux, Zoo, Sonic Deadly, and Trio Kev out the front. What about tyres, China? What are we looking at for tyres?
All right, so we got most of the field there out on softs, which I think is the move for Silverstone. You want to sort of, if you can get a bit of a gap, let's get it early on. But as we can see, Whiff out in front there, he's got Roshan right behind him, and Plugger closing in the gap. We've got Sebi out of DRS, so that's a bit of a struggle so early on in the race. We can guarantee that the top three will be trying to widen that gap and make a bit of a break. No safety cars on the horizon from what I can see. Everyone's keeping it pretty tidy in Div 3, so that's good to see so far. 8 laps in. As we move down the field there, we've got Joyfell 5 seconds behind RJK. So that's quite a gap out there at lap 8. And Hennessy behind him, RK Gamings and Cooper Bot. Keeping it nice and tight, trailing. And we got FT Bang rounding out the top 10. Right as Cooper picks up position 7. And has he had a little spill there? No, just very tightly battled. There's a lot of overtaking in that mid-pack there. We've got 2 wide. It's very tight coming through there. It's very easy to make a mistake, but everyone's keeping it pretty clean, which is good to see. So Cooper's looks like he's solidified himself into P8 there. Not too far off Hennessy, just 0.2. So nice tight little gap there to keep throughout the race. What do you think is going to be the pit strategy tonight, SJ? Do you think there's going to be anything a bit different on the go? Any 2 stops as part of the plan, or are we all on a softer medium only?
I think the guys will push 23 laps, maybe 24 laps on the softs. Mediums will go around about the lap 30. They'll push a little bit more on the 30s there. Interesting to see. There's not quite a lot of guys on the soft compound tyres, so interesting to see at the moment. But there's not many gaps. You've got Russian and Whiff changing up there. You've got Plugger staying in that P3 at the moment. You've got a 2-second gap there, though, to RJ. But RJ is on those mediums, so he will be able to go a little bit longer than Plugger. You've got Sebi there. What a start there for the Visa Cash App driver, who has had a very interesting season with connection issues as well. And you've got Joyful, 4.7 seconds back. So he's in a good position, which is good to see. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. At the moment, I think we're not going to see much difference on the strategy. I think we're going to see these guys push on the softs as much as they can and then get onto the mediums and go to the end. And then if that safety car does come out, as we've seen, then that'll change things up again.
It will. And so we've got the 2 drivers going for championship standing. Plugger in P3 and Whiff has just taken back P1. So there's going to be a lot of chopping and changing. But I suspect, obviously, Plugger's going to be going pretty hard for the win there. He sort of needs to get a P1, and he needs Whiff to fall down the order a bit, down to P7 at a minimum. So that's going to be interesting to see as the race evolves here. We can see that gap out to Sebi now is nearly 3 seconds. So that lead pack, they're doing a great job of working with each other and sort of swapping over without dropping time. That's really good to see.
Yeah, the question will be is if Sibi and RJ do work together and can use that DRS and try and pull in that gap as we saw yesterday in Division 6. We saw that obviously Edge and J-Man were working very well together, but just couldn't seem to pull in that gap on Thunderballs until obviously right until the end, until mistakes were made there. Tennessee just gets the 3 second time penalty there. 11 laps out of 52, quite early to get a penalty there at the moment, but yeah, Clyotonic 28 seconds behind. So unless something has seriously gone wrong there, that is a big gap that he is going to have to pull in. But anything can happen, you know. And we've seen the safety car that can change the whole dynamics of this race very quickly. As Hennessy gets another one, so he gets 6 seconds within the space of 2 corners, and he's up to 9 seconds of pens now. So not the best of starts there. Maybe he's been playing a bit of F125 actually. We're going to talk about that a little bit while we're everyone is spread out. Dropped yesterday. Have you got the game?
I've got it. I just haven't downloaded it yet, mate. I didn't want to confuse myself on the handling dynamics being a little bit different between the two. But look, I did put a few laps in on the pre-release when that sort of first came out. A very different game, mate. It doesn't necessarily feel slower, but my experience is I've been about 1 to 2 seconds slower on most tracks, so probably closes the reality gap there. It sort of brings it back into line with the real world times that people are getting out on track, which I think is a good thing. I'm hearing some reports that traction control might be more manageable in F125.
Yeah, I've tried medium. Yeah, it does spin the car a little bit, but it's drivable. It's drivable, but you got to get used to it. Yeah, but it's gonna be very interesting. Looking forward to season 9 on the new game, and looking forward to seeing all the evaluations as well. And it has dropped, and I reckon a lot of people are getting their hours in, and you're probably going to see few results start to change if people do switch off and go on to. Back onto 25 and then go back onto 24. I know it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. We do have 3 races to go, and so we'll have to wait and see what happens. But as far as I'm aware, it has got good reviews, good write-up, and everyone is enjoying it, which is good to see. But we are here at 24 at the moment, and we've got Russian and with Mitzi from Plugger are your top 3 at the moment. We've got RJ at 3.9, not really making any more time up. It's actually increasing to nearly 4 seconds now, which it just has. There you go. So don't seem to have the pace at the top 3. So it looks like it's going to be a 3-way fight tonight. But the question is how is it going to finish? Is it going to finish in this position? Because as we saw earlier on with the graphic that you posted, this is not good for Plugger at the moment.
Plugger needs to do some work here. So we're just crossing. What have we got? Lap 12. They're just going down for lap 13. So Plugger's going to need to get out in front pretty quickly and start to sort of stamp his authority on the race, or at the very least, I think from that P3 he can at least start to put some pressure on Whiff and see if he can force some mistakes there. I'd suggest here the key for Plugger is put enough of a push on that Whiff might burn through his tyres. He's sort of not always the best at managing his treads, so we'll see how that develops as we go through. It's interesting to see such big gaps through that midfield there. So from P6, P7, P8, and P9 have all got very big gaps between them.
Yeah, they do. They do.
So as you were saying, that top 3 really are just running away with it now. 5.2 seconds out to Sebi. That's a hard gap to close this early on.
Yeah, definitely. In 58 seconds from P19 to the leader. Top 10 is 16 seconds to the leader, and 15th is 22 seconds to the leader. So anything can happen, but the gaps are really starting to fill at the moment. You got Angus and Hennessy, they're just switching around there. Hennessy going around the outway all the way into Cox. Very nicely moved there. Goes way too far off the track though. And he's got to be very careful he's not getting the penalties there. Going on at the back though, and Squash Josh getting through there on RK. Lovely move there, I've got to say. and we've got Jux getting a 3-second time penalty down there in P16 at the moment. So everyone that started this race is still on the grid. So really good to see. Cooper Bott tonight reserving for Bolts. He's doing well. He's handling himself out there down in the P7. Obviously, not probably where Bolts probably would be. We know that Bolts would probably be a little bit higher up there, probably fighting up there with his teammate at the moment. But that's given a massive opportunity for Joyful, Stebby, and RJ tonight to get some big points.
Absolutely. I think the thing for here, Plugger, is he's going to need to keep an eye on the positioning of Cooper the Bot, just to see whether he eventually makes his way up the order. Because if he gets anywhere near Whiff, they can work together and really sort of just squeeze Plugger out of the equation, and he's not going to want that. There's
No.
been some tidy overtakes on the track. It is a wide track. It's a good track for overtakes, but as we all know, the corners are a bit slippery, particularly on exit. So, while you might be able to squeeze yourself alongside, you've definitely got to pay attention to your exit. Very easy to slide across the track and take someone out, but it's been all pretty tidy so far.
Yeah, definitely. As we're seeing, Squash Josh getting very, very close to Hennessy at the moment for that P10 position. And after Hennessy, he's got a 2.2 second gap to Dido, 2.5 second gap to Dido, sorry. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But at the moment, it's looking pretty good. The two Red Bulls in P11 and P13, so good spots for them. Probably not where they want to be, but we'll have to wait and see how we go at the moment. Cooper caught Joyful. Well, there we go. So Cooper has caught Joyful. We'll jump on board with Cooper Bot for a second, and I'll let you take a lap with your fellow teammate, China.
Mate, Cooper the Body's he's been doing good work lately, so let's see how he goes stepping up tonight. He's given himself a little bit of different distance to Joyfell there. It doesn't sort of pay to be too close through this section. You can easily run into the back of someone and ruin your whole race. But as we go through that tight left-hander, look, his exits are looking much tidier than Joyful. I think he's just going to hunt him down here, and but he's not going to spend too much longer in P7. Interesting thing will be to see where he goes for the move. Really tightening in that gap, as we see Hennessy's just picked up a 3-second as well, so he must be racking up some pens there. I wonder if people have been practicing without the strict track limits. SJ, what do you think? SJ's just stepped away for a minute there, but yeah, look, in Div 6, there was quite a few penalties through that division as well, and it really just seemed like some of the drivers have been practicing without strict track limits on, which obviously it makes you practice a bit easier, but it sets you up for the wrong line in race, and you can very quickly accrue pens here, as we're seeing through the field. Cooper's got that move done, very tidy. Looks like Joyfell sort of moved out of the way for him there as he comes through the final sector here. But very slow exit here, but that is the case. Out onto the straight, and he's crossed the line there now in P6. Now the interesting thing here will be whether Coops can close that gap to Sebi. So he's currently 4.5, 4.4. So we'll see how he goes throughout this lap, but it looks like he's got the pace on the cars ahead. Goes a little bit wide there. And look, Joyfell's trying to take back that position. So that's another thing here. While you can get the overtake, you know that the car behind is going to very quickly set up to get back in front, and that's exactly what's happening with Cooper here. Joyfell's right on the back of him. So these guys have two options. They can either keep battling through the corners, or they can try and give each other some room on the straights there and see if they can drag each other along to close that gap. See that gap's now up to 4.6, so that battle isn't helping them at all. But look, a tidy position change there. Maybe they are trying to work together, but just haven't quite nailed it yet.
Yeah, we've seen Hennessy go
So we
off.
get down the.
Hennessy's gone off. A little bit of a yellows there.
Oh,
I'm just
no.
seeing if he's got a bit of damage to that front left. He's really struggling on the tyre. I don't know if he has. No damage there. Just those tyres could be a little bit sore. We'll have to wait and see if he comes in. Yeah, he's getting too
Oh,
many
he's
penalties. He just seems
sliding.
to be. What happened there?
What's he doing?
What has gone on there?
And a Hennessy, and he's retired.
Well, that would definitely be looked at because
So he's
that looks
just
like he's just
retired
gone
on
straight
track
into
there.
the car, straight into the wall.
Careered off the wall, so now we've got a safety car. That's look, that's definitely going to be looked at, isn't it, SJ? I think that looked like a little bit too much of a straight line to the wall to me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, 100%. Um, interesting.
Mm. So this is going to help the midfielders obviously tighten up those gaps again. The safety car will bring everyone back together. So the thing here will be whether Whiff, Roche, and Plugger can create that gap again, and we'll just keep an eye on what everyone does with pit stops here. Might be a little bit early to duck into the pits, but also at the same time, it might be a move you regret not doing if you don't take the chance now. So let's see as they come around if anyone's into the pits. And there we are, lead packs all into the pits now. So we're all going to go swap over to mediums and see if they can close the race out on those. We'll have 35 laps on the medium tyre for the top three runners, which that is
Ooh,
quite a little stint.
okay. Drive through. Interesting to say the least. Ooh, that will be interesting.
And the drive-through can't be served under safety, can it, SJ? So he's going to have to wait until the safety's over, and then within a couple of laps, get back into the pits and serve that dreadful drive-through.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to say the least there, but we'll have to wait and see how it all goes at the moment. But that's lap 17 out of 52, and that changes a little bit of the dynamics of this race up a little bit because we're going to see some new pit stops there. That the battle the Hennessy thing there, that's going to be looked at massively because it looks like he's just, I don't know if his wheel's disconnected, but he's gone straight into the wall and yeah, brought out a safety car. Didn't look like it needed to come out for no apparent reason. So interesting.
Mm, very interesting. I'm not sure, given his positioning, I'm not sure what the benefit might have been there, but yeah, let's hope it was just a hardware issue or a disconnect or something alike. But he seemed very quick to hit the wall and then retire from session. So definitely one for the stewards there to take a look at after. Now, as we see
Definitely.
that RJK hasn't actually gone into changeover tyres, so he's still out on those I think on the softs at 18 laps, mediums at 17 laps. So he's going to be going for the late pit stop and try and bring it home on the softs by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Not sure if that's going to be the right move, mate. 17 laps on those mediums. I think the following three cars are going to get him pretty quickly once the restart happens. You might see him sort of falling through the order as all of the cars, the entire field behind him, has gone fresh tyres.
Yeah, I don't know how long he's going to go. 18 laps, you know, he's going to come under extreme pressure from Whiff and Russian Plugger and all the way down, actually. Every single person now on the grid is going to come under extreme pressure. Penalties is a big one here at the moment. We're seeing quite a few penalties, so we're just going to jump on board then. We've got Sebi with a 10, so I reckon that's a speeding in the pit lane penalty there. Now, if I did miss it, I do apologise. We then got Zoo as well. He's got another 10 seconds, so that could be another speeding in the pit lane as well. Jukes with a 3, and then Dido with a 10 as well. So that looks
Oh,
like it
no.
could be a speeding in the pit lane. Angus with a 3. Kiner up at a P15, so that's helped his race out because he can catch the rest of the pack. Deadly with a 3. RK with a drive through, so obviously going too fast under yellows. And then Trio Kid with the 3 seconds, and we're down to 19 drivers due to Hennessy bringing out that safety car. So we'll have to wait and see what the go is there because that will be investigated 100%. It was on stream, caught, you know, but yeah, if that is the case, and it is a hardware failure, then we do feel for him. But yeah, not the way that you want the safety car to come out, because now it's brought everyone back into it, and it's made it a little bit more even, but it didn't need to come out, did it?
Didn't need to come out, mate, and you'd have to think unless it was a hardware issue that there's no reason for him to have careered into the wall like that. So yeah, hopefully he's got his POV, and he can sort of show what happened from his end. But not good to have a safety out for no reason. You know, that's just that's one car off the track, and it's very much changed the race for the rest of the field. Let's see how they handle it on restart. We're not going to get a restart on this lap unless those trailers really catch up quickly. Not sure that that's going to happen in time, so we're probably going to be going around again.
Yeah.
So obviously, the field there will be doing some work to get their tyres back up to temp. Who have we got here? Trio Kev trailing at the rear. They're just trying to catch up to the safety pack group.
So RJ's still
Around for another lap we go.
Not going in on 18 laps. 20 laps on the medium. So what do you reckon? Another 10? He'll probably do another 10 and then maybe pit another pit. He could probably do another 12 probably maybe now. Because he's got 2 laps on the safety car, so the tyres may he may be able to get an extra 2 laps out of him, so he may push to 32. Do you think we'll see him pit maybe after those 12 laps? Because he's going to come under extreme pressure.
I think if you've made the decision to stay out, now you've really got to stick to your plan and sort of probably get out to at least somewhere around that lap 30. You know, if he's not doing another 8 to 10 laps on those, he's gonna leave himself short when he jumps over the softs. It's going to be very hard to keep up with any drivers with very worn out softs at the end of this race.
100% agree on that. I do agree on that massively. We'll have to wait and see. We've got 35 people tuning in. Thank you very much. Let's get to the big viewers. This is the last 100% of the season here at Division 3. And, well, at the moment, Plugger is not in a good spot to win the championship as it stands. In a very good spot to win this championship. It's now 2 spots different between the 2 of them than it was earlier on before. And, yeah, good to see at the moment. But, yeah, this race is going to change up the dynamics, I think, massively. And look forward to seeing what happens. We've got a few guys on the softs as well. China, obviously got Cooper, your teammate, on the softs. We've then also got Terence on the softs as well. And then we've also got Dido on the softs as well. But we've got a lot of penalties from P10 all the way down to P18, which could change the dynamics, especially in that bottom half of the field compared to the top half of the field, China.
Absolutely. So we can see we've got Kyo buried in the middle of the drivers with pens. So he's going to pick up a few spots organically, but obviously he's going to be on the move up through the pack. Be interesting to see, what the strategy is there. If you've sort of picked up a 3, you've probably got a chance of dealing with it and finishing okay. But as soon as you get up to 6 or 9 or 10 seconds in pens, that's devastating for the end of the race. There, you can very quickly drop down the order in final standings. I'm quite surprised to see that half the field has picked up pens and that those pens are so high. Just again a track limits issue. The 60 kilometres into the pit lane that must have thrown a few people. As we see, we're off again. And RJK has pulled out a half-second lead there. It doesn't look like anyone's been caught napping. We're all in DRS all the way down the field there, so that's great to see. Let's see how tight they can keep it at the end of lap 1.
Joyful getting very, very close there to the back of Sebi. Cooper Bot looking to make a move. Cooper Bot's going to be very, very quick on them. Softcon Pontoyes goes around the outside. Does he go for the move there? Oh, he goes for the move into P6. Lovely. He's even going for the move on Sebi as well.
Very tidy.
Oh, does he get the job done? Oh, Joyful. Terence is going side by side. Oh, that looked very, very close there. We're going to have to wait and see. Sorry, I've got some furry animals that keep walking past me. We've got Terence.
It looks like Cooper's solidified himself into P6 there and hot on the tail of Sebi. So Look, the softs might be a bit of a strategy move. It might allow Cooper to sort of climb up the order there and give Whiff a hand, creating some space to Plugger. But we know that Cooper's going to have to get past, and we're three wide out the front. Wow.
Russian's got the job done there, and RJ has lost it a little bit. He's gone into the side, and then look at this. Plugger is in third at the moment, but does he manage to get through? Yes, he does. A little bit of drama in behind. The two Alpines going at it together, Terence and RJ. And obviously, Terence will want to get the job done pretty quick here because he is on fresher tyres. RJ has gone from P1 to P5 in one lap, and that just shows you that he was holding those guys up. Sebi is right behind Plugger, putting the pressure on. And this looks like this is not going to be an easy night for Plugger here tonight. He's got some seriously guys that are right behind him, using the DRS, catching up with him, and trying to stay with him as much as he can. But I would say that RJ needs to go in the pits in the next 5 laps because he's going to keep falling down the hurdle even more and more. And he doesn't want to get in the way of his teammate. All the other drivers, there's Cooper, but goes around the outside and goes side by side again. Oh, get the job done. RJ now down into P7, and now he's got the two Astons to deal with in P8 and P9. RJ dropping down the field massively due to those 21 lap mediums, China.
So there you go, 1 lap, and he's dropped from P1 to P7, and he's going to be in some strife here with both the Astons trailing behind him. Obviously, they can work together and make sure that they just solidify their lead once they get in front of him. You'd have to think it's only a matter of time with those tyres. I mean, definitely holding back the field, and now that he's dropped through, he's going to be holding down that mid pack as we see Joyfell's battling there to get out in front. And he's got the move done.
Zoo goes around the outside. He's trying to push in. There's a lot of fighting here, which is actually slowing these guys down. They've already lost a second to Cooper Bott already, trying to mess around getting past the Alpine driver there. They've done it safely, which is really good to see. Really good to see that they've done it safely. Going a little bit further back up to the top, we've got with Matif putting the pressure on Russian. Obviously very high on ERS there. Plugger putting the pressure on Whiff, and Sebi getting another pin. Terence is ready to pounce on them soft compound tyres. It's softs versus mediums. Terence is looking to make the move. Does he get the move around the outside? Gonna go for the move there. Does he get the job done? Round the outside of Sebi. Bit of grip. Does he have better grip? That's going to be the question. Yes, he does. Lovely move from Terence up to P4. Now he's going to put the pressure on Plugger, and I reckon Plugger will probably just let him pass. He knows he's going to be on the quicker tyre here, China, so he won't want to risk anything silly, or he'll try and stay in the DRS of Russian at the moment. But yeah, Terence and Cooper and Sebi all going at it in that P4, 5, 6 position. And Joyful's got back into the DRS as well. And now he's just waiting for his teammate, Zoo, who is 1.2. But he has Dido for company, who is right behind, gets the job done. And he's now up into P8. So a lot has been changing in the last couple of laps after the safety car restart there, China.
There's a lot of chopping and changing, SJ, but as you can see through the field there, everyone's still in DRS except for RK Gaming's. I wonder if he's got a problem back there, 20 seconds behind a couple of laps after a safety restart. Might have a bit of an issue with the car. Hopefully not any damage, as we see RJK into the pits there finally to change those tyres. And he's going to go on to a set of hards.
Interesting.
Set of hards for RJK. That's an interesting move.
They are slow. They are a slow tyre. So Russian has just lost the lead there to Whiff. Whiff up into P1. Russian now into P2. What a move. I see Terence just get the job done on Cooper there and for that P4. Lovely bit of job there. Oh, look, we got Plugger and Russian going side by side. Oh, a little bit of a tap. Plugger trying to move over into Cops. And Russian getting the job done, but that was close. That was very, very close. That would have been a brown moment there for Plugger if he would have moved over a little bit too far to the left. That could have been both of them out. We could have seen the Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton re-invited again, but with the two teams. As Russian goes for the lead of the race into P1, with Matif into P2, Plugger into P3, but Terence is really putting the pressure on that Mercedes. And he's going to want to get the job done here, China, because he's not going to want to keep following these mediums for long. He's on the quicker tyre. he's going to want to get the job done as soon as possible, and so will Cooper as well, because Cooper is trying to get through as well as he does the fastest lap. So Terence and Cooper will not want to mess around with these guys in the mediums, and I reckon we probably could see them. Maybe even overtaking these guys on the medium tyres in front of them in P1, 2, and 3.
Absolutely. Moving over those softs, you want to make the best use of them. Get up the field as quickly as you possibly can. You know that they're going to go off before the mediums in front. And we're very tight. Oh, Terrence, we're getting very bunched up through that set of corners there. I wonder if Roche is a bit slow getting through that section out in front. That's just really compacting those trailing five cars. A lot of overtakes on the go here, SJ. It's really good to see that they've kept it all very tidy, getting through that race.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, it is really, really good to see at the moment. Plugging now into P2, with into
Plugger in too.
P3. Fran's getting a 3-second time penalty. We're just going to jump on board with something and just see if anything changes with the situation with the championship. So earlier on, we did say win. P2 still will go into the next race because Whiff is in P3. So Plugger's in P2, Whiff is in P3. So that doesn't count at the moment. So yeah, we'll go into the next race. So still the championship is up for grabs, still going into next week in Jeddah as it stands at the moment with this positions, but still early days. I don't think we are even. I think 27. We're going to be halfway through. Nice little battle, but Terence and Cooper Bot still not got the job done. They're just in the DRS, ready to pounce. A lot of these guys have high ERS. You know, Russian playing with a lot of battery. RJ has retired, and he has, yeah, he's actually got a 10-second and retired, which is
Oh,
that's unfortunate. There, I don't know why he didn't continue. Obviously, yeah, he could have continued. He obviously called it. Shame there for the Alpine driver of RJ. Don't understand why he retired when there's another 26 laps to go. Interesting. But it is what it is. We've got Russian in P1 at the moment, Plugger in P2 with in P3. Cooper Watt did get in front of Terence, and now he's going to be putting the pressure on his teammate. Now, will we see a switch here? This will be an interesting one because he's on the softs. So if he can make the decision to make the switch, we might see a bit of a change here, which changes things up massively because he's on the soft compound tyres. So do you think we're going to see a switch here?
I think so, mate. I think it'd make sense to let him get up in front there and sort of drag Whiff along through the track. And make sure we keep him in that top five at the very least. But you have to think that Whiff's got the pace. I half wonder whether he's sort of backed off that lead group a little bit there just to allow Cooper to slot up into fourth. Geez, the pack is really tightening up through the corners. I'm really impressed to see that there's not a lot of not a lot of damage going on. It's great as we get up the straight there, and Cooper slots on into third position with Whiff tucked in behind him. So I think that'll be the strategy there. Just get Cooper to push up and put as much pressure as he can on Plugger, maybe even get in front of him and then sort of slow him down for Whiff to hold in.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen them make the move there into that P3, so they've made the decision there to switch, which is good to see. And we've also got Whiff down there in P4, so he'll just use him with the DRS and the ERS as well. We've got Sebi just making the move there. Oh, we've got a lot of battles going on in the back here. We've got Dido, Joyful going side by side. We've then also got Sebi in the mix as well. We've also got Kaio getting into it now as well in P9, so he's going to take his time. This is some good points for Kaio as well, from where he was to where he is now. So if he can get to the back of this is going to bring him to the back of Sebi, which is then going to bring them back into the Terrence. And as we're seeing here, since this safety car restart, a lot of these guys are very close together here, China, which is going to make this very interesting. As we can see, Kyotonic up into P8. Now he's going to make a move on Joyful. Are we going to see Cooper try and get the move done on Plugger for that P2 spot at the moment? That will be the question.
You'd have to think that was the point of of getting those softs in. Just let him get up into that lead pack and see if he can sort of cause some trouble. Get a bit of a gap in front of Plugger. As we see, he's point 0.2 behind. Just happy to sort of sit there for the time being. And look, Whiff's really going to be getting all the benefit here. He's going to be able to bank his ERS, not push too hard on the tyres while he's trailing behind Coop, and then when it's the right time, get that ERS going and just sort of blast out in front. Not as simple as that. It is a long race, and we know a lot can happen between lap 28 and lap 52. A safety car isn't out of the equation right now, given that the gap between cars is so tight. We're seeing a lot of moves. They've been
Ooh.
pretty tidy, but as those tyres degrade, I think we're going to see a little bit of trouble as Dito gets a 3.
And so does Sebi as well. We're going to jump on board with some pens here because Sebi's now in the 16, Dado's in the
Oh my
13.
god.
Big pens there. And we've also seen a bit of a switch there with Roshan and Plugger. So Plugger now into P1 and Roshan into P2. Now let's go back over to what we were talking about, the championship. And let's have a look here. So we were saying earlier on what the championship means. So if Plugger wins this race and Whiff finishes in P4, it still goes to the last to the next race. It's still not enough. He needs to win, and Plugger needs to finish in P7. So yeah, it's this championship fight is really heating up here, and this prediction of this chart is making things very interesting to say the least. But at the moment, Plugger's leading this, but that's only because of DRS. The question is going to be, is he going to be able to hold on here? We're on 29 laps out of 52. And I'm just looking at the DRS train, and we've got P1, P2, P3, P4, P5 is your full DRS train, right? And then we've got Joyful that is behind, and then you've got a DRS train from him, from Kaio, Sebi, Dido, Squash Josh, and Zoo looks like he's about to jump into this as well. And it looks like Angus could jump into this as soon. So there could be a 6-way DRS train. As we're seeing here, Plugger losing the lead to Roshan. And Roshan getting the move, but Cooper's going to go on the outside of Plugger.
Oh.
Does he get the move done? Are we going to get squeezed? Oh, he's really trying to there. Doesn't get the job done. The grip on the soft tyres is not doing it. They're just going to jump on board with Cooper. That was close, China. That was a move that he could have made there. He just didn't have enough acceleration on the Division 2 driver of Plugger there.
Looks like he sort of might have backed out there at the last second, unsure as to whether he could get it done in time. So just didn't quite get the acceleration right. But there's plenty of chances on this track, and hopefully he's lining up for his next one as he gets through the DRS here. Let's see what sort of moves he makes. Look, everyone's just sort of tucked in, which is probably not a bad idea with that many cars in front. And a little less side by side through the corners here, so we've got a clear lead pack now, P1 to P5, and they are running in a tight little DRS train. So it might looks like as the race evolves, that they might sort of just stick to overtakes in the DRS, of course, as those tyres start to get a bit slippery.
Yeah, Cooper Bot really doing a good job going into the maggots and bigots there, getting a really good grip there. And Plugger looks like he's got a bit of a wobble. Is Cooper going to go for a move? Here we go. We've got Cooper Bot looking to make the move on Roshan. No, stays behind Roshan at the moment, stays in that position. Nice little battle going on there. Very well. Well working together. You can see the two kicks, the McLaren and the Merc, and then you've got the Alpine of Terrence, who's doing a great job, I've got to say. Doing an absolutely phenomenal job, the TP of Alpine in that P5 position. On them softs, though, but they will drop off. That will be the question. Are they going to be able to go to the end? We'll have to wait and see. Still plenty of laps still to go in this race. We've got just over 20 laps left after the next lap. So, yeah. The question is, the mediums, are they the better tyre? Are the softs going to be able to outlast the mediums? It's gonna be tough as Cooper is looking ready to make a move on Roshan now. Doesn't get the job done. Roshan is trying to get the move done on Plugger. Roshan goes down around the outside. Cooper goes on the inside. He's trying to get the job done, going around the outside. He doesn't get it. Roshan is keeping very close to Plugger. This is a great battle battling here between the McLaren the Mercedes and the Kicks, and the Kicks have been phenomenal in Division 3 all season, and it looks like they're going to continue this with no Boltzaroo, but Cooper Bott has got a lot of battery, and we'll have to wait and see how we go.
Mate, they're being very respectful of each other's space through here. It's really good to see that not only is there some really good and sort of tight moves on the go, but they seem to be executing them quite neatly. So that's great to see. As we've got Roshan going up on the outside, coming into the final sweeper. Oh, he's got it done straight up into P1 there. So hopefully these guys are just sort of doing a little bit of a swap, and yeah, it seems to be very, very orchestrated at the moment. Uh, Not putting too much pressure on each other, and really not slowing down that lead pack too much. It's great to see. It's really good watching SJ.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's really, really good battling here between the Kicks, the Merc, and the McLaren. Not much is changing though. They're in a good position. They know that they're just going to be steady. But I tell you something, we are going to see some serious battling. If we are coming to the last couple of laps and it's like this, what are we going to see? We've seen some interesting, we've seen some strange things happening on the main straight of people, going into none and not making moves when they could have done. So it's an interesting thing to talk about. But yeah, I reckon we're definitely not going to see these guys drop off the acceleration. They'll be definitely wanting to fight right at the end. As you can see, Cooper Bott and Whiff getting very, very close together. And the Kicks are going to want a good position here. They're going to want a good points, because at the moment they're in fantastic form. And they could be ones to watch out for the overalls. The way things are going, the points they're racking up at the moment is fantastic. So yeah, people watch out for the Kicks. I know there's only 3 races remaining, but they are on fire at the moment. And I'll be back again in a second.
Lovely, yeah, and yeah, the point for kick there is, it's a strong close for the season, and look, the focus has been throughout the team to obviously not only get the wins as best we can, but try and get both drivers across the line with points. That seems to have really made a difference in the closing stages, and Kick have really benefited from a lot of dual podiums, so P1, P2, or P2, P3, and that's really helped them sort of close the gap out to McLaren SJ, as we know, where Kick is right on the heels of McLaren in the constructors. This could be the week that Kick takes up that P2 and then starts to focus on P1. But until it happens, we don't count our chickens early. So we see some great battling going on in this top pack. So now we've got a DRS train from P1 Plugger, Roshan P2, Cooper P3, Whiff in P4, Terrence P5, Kyo P6, Joyful, Dido, Square Josh, Sebi rounding out the top 10, all in the DRS train. Then we've got a 2.5 second gap out to Angus, a 3 second gap out to Trio Kev, and then a little DRS train there with Jux and Franz. And the trailing cars there, Deadly Fuller keeping in the DRS of Zoo, and Arcade Gaming's 12 seconds behind. It's a tough spot to be in, right at the back of the pack there, 12 seconds behind. But I do know that about 5 or 6 laps ago, he had a 20 second gap, so he's done some work to sort of close it up. And you never know how high one of these drivers can climb through the order, as everyone's tyres start to go off after being on the push for so long. If RK's done well to manage his tread wear, he might be able to sort of push himself back up into the points there, just depending on what the pens are like.
Yeah,
Getting
definitely.
back up to the yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. No, go on, carry on.
Sorry, mate. Getting back up to the top there, so we got Kyo pushing up into P5. So not long after the safety there, he was down in P15, if I remember correctly. So he's done a lot of work to push his way through that field, and he's now threatening for a podium. What do you think, SJ? Is he going to get there?
Well, I think he's going to be in a great position, because the way things are going at the moment, he is going to be able to help his teammate. He is only 2 spots away behind his teammate at the moment. And Yeah, he's looking pretty fast. Let's look at the times that Kaio is doing at the moment. A 1:29.7, so he's a tenth off Cooper at the moment. He's actually quicker than Whiff, Plugger, and Roshan. So interesting to see as we're seeing Cooper in. Interesting.
Yeah, I just saw in that last lap there, Cooper had a big
Interesting.
old slide coming out of the exit there.
That's massive. That is massive. Did he need to come in? Oh yeah, he
Looked like he
probably
might have
did.
been struggling with traction and he was sort of holding Whiff up a little bit maybe. So
Yeah,
look,
he did. He did. These guys are going to have to come in. These two guys in the softs are going to have to come in. Terrence and Dino, they're not going to be able to finish the race. So we are going to see another.
I,
We're seeing something here. What's going on the
oh,
reds? Oh, yellow. Sorry.
oh, has Terrence had a spin?
No, it looks like Terrence is.
Terrence.
He's fallen back though massively there, down into P9. But yeah, I'm just looking at this, and I think everyone has to stop again. You know, I'm at it now, and I'm looking at 17. There is how many laps left?
17 laps to go.
17 laps to go. One, yeah, they are. These mediums are going to. Oh, this is going to be closed for the mediums. The softs aren't going to be able to go again. The mediums are going to be closed. I think these guys may have to stop again. This could be interesting here. We could see P1 all the way down. Mediums, well, yeah, they're saying mediums will be fine to the end, but 30 laps was pretty good. I don't know how much they want to push, but yeah, I think the softs are definitely going to have to pit. So yeah, interesting to see because guess what? Kaya now into P3, Roshan into P4, and Kaya on the back of Plugger and with Matif. And this has just changed in the click of a button.
It absolutely very quick here. And yeah, look, with those softs there, you'd have to think Dito's definitely going to be up for a stop. I tend to think that the mediums can make it through, but it is very dependent on how heavy you've been on the throttle getting out of corners. You can wash a lot of tread wear off if you're too heavy on the foot. So hopefully everyone's managing it pretty well. I suspect a pit stop won't be on the cards for anyone on mediums in that top group unless one of the other cars dips out or if we get a late safety. Obviously, a late safety sort of changes everything up pretty significantly. But if it's too late, might not be enough time for that lead pack to sort of climb back through the order. So very interesting, SJ. 35 odd laps on mediums. I think that's doable, but 35 laps on the softs at Silverstone, that's just not going to happen. So,
Cooper bot in. Oh, that's massive.
oh no.
Not going to be happy with that. I don't know. Has he made the right decision? He's obviously he has to pit, but he's pushed himself all the way down into P16. He's 4.5 seconds behind Deadly, but now he has a 3 second, and he's joining the likes of Franz, Jux, Angus, all of those pens. Some of the other guys have got a lot more pens. There's Joyful coming into the pits, and Joyful's retired. Why is Joyful retired at P10?
Some very odd moves on the go,
well, that will
SJ.
definitely be
Retiring in
investigated.
P10 on mediums. I can't think of a reason as to why you'd need to retire from P10 on medium tires. It looked like he was in a good spot.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be obviously investigated. That's silly. That's silly. Why? Yeah, I don't understand that. That's a bit silly. Okay, we've got Plugger in that P1 at the moment with Batif in P2. These guys still pushing in the times at the moment and the pace, but they are joined by a couple of other guys right behind them, which is two McLarens in P3 and P4, with looking ready to pounce and make the move on his nemesis for this championship title at the moment. Azu gets a 3-second time penalty down there in P13 with taking the lead again. Plugger into P2, Kaio and Roshan in P3 and P4 as Dino goes miles off the track there. And Dino is going to be jumping into this battle very, very soon as well. He is just in the DRS zone, just, and he's trying to stay there. The question is, though, he does have 13 seconds of penalties, so is he going to have to pit again? Are we going to see another safety car? That's going to be the question. Let's jump on board for an onboard with Kaio. China, do you believe that we could see a safety car again here?
I was just thinking about that before, SJ. Look, anything can happen, obviously. We could have another safety, but it appears that everyone's sort of giving each other room to get the moves done. Obviously, up in P1 and P2, there, Whiff and Plugger seem to be happily exchanging P1 and P2. So that's really good to see. And even though they're locked in a battle for the championship, they're still giving each other the space and sort of working together. As we get down through the field there, we've probably got enough of a gap between the cars that if, unless someone has a big accident or makes a big mistake, I don't think we'll see a safety.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see, as normally the case is that these guys are quite evenly spread out, aren't they? So as we're seeing Plugger go for the move there past with Matif. Oh, as Kaio gets a little bit side by side with Matif, and he's let him get the job done. And with Matif has actually dropped down into P4 there, so he's now both behind both McLarens, and both McLarens look like they're going to push on and try and put pressure on with Matif, as Kaio is putting the pressure on. With Matif is coming back at Roshan there. A little bit of a tap there, but I don't know if it was nothing to be looked at. We'll have to wait and see. Kaio putting the pressure on Plugger, so we'll jump on board and on board with him to see if he can get the job done here. But yeah, this race is not over, China, at all. These guys are really putting the pressure on. Dido's lost the DRS now. Those softs look like they may have gone. And Zoom's retired. And he's retired into the pits. He's called it. I don't know why some of these guys are calling some really early retirements, even though they've got an opportunity of still scoring points. Interesting.
So is that 3 out of the 4 retired cars look to have retired of their own accord, which is a little bit disappointing to see. That's a shame. We always like to get as many cars as we can across the line, and you know, you've started the race, you've put the time into practice, hopefully. So just a little bit puzzling as to why you dip out at this part of the race. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
As we see at the top there, Plugger and Kaio are keeping a nice tight gap to each other. So it'll be interesting to see if Plugger and Kaio end up working together as well, or if this just becomes a battle to the end of the race. What do you think about driver of the day so far, mate? I have to tell you, out of the gates, Kaio has got to be up there. That's an enormous climb. Without any pens and on it's a tough track to make your way that far through the order that quickly. If I was to put a name on driver of the day, I think it would be Kyle at this stage.
Yeah, I would say so. Great. He could even win this race as well, which would be massive. But yeah, doing a phenomenal job from where he was in quali. But this race, like I said, is not over. These guys are really going at it. We're looking at some penalties there. He's in that P2 spot. He's got the help of his teammate behind. They're in a pretty controllable situation with Matif in that P4 spot. As we just go back over to as a little graphic that we've been playing around with, and we'll get back onto it again. Still, we'll go to next week. Still, we'll go to Jeddah. Win. He's obviously in P1 at the moment. Whiff is in P4. So he will still go into next week at the moment. So, yeah, which is going to be interesting to see there as Plugger now drops down to P2 and Whiff is only one spot behind him. Squash Josh and Terence changing up. Just keep an eye out on these guys as well, because Terence and Squash Josh could be up for a good spot here in that P5 spot, as Dido will lose that spot that he's in at P5 at the moment. He's actually dropped massively. It was 1.5 is now 2.2, so those tyres are completely gone. I don't know how long he's going to continue on them. He's not going to be able to get to the end on those tyres, I don't think. So yeah, an interesting strap. We've seen Cooper Bot make that pit stop earlier on, but he's not really made any traction. He's 4.5 seconds behind Jux on 6 lap. softs, and then he's
Softs.
got 6 seconds to trio Kev after that, and that's only for P10, and he's gone from P3 to P12. So, bit of a interesting strat there, but yeah, I think it had to be done. Oh, Russian's out! Russian is out of this race!
Oh,
What has happened there? What has happened there?
we got a safety car.
We have got a safety car. What has happened there? I didn't see it. I did not see it. How is he out the race?
I didn't
OMG.
catch it, SJ, but it looked like he just shot off the side of the track there.
OMG. What has happened there with Russian?
Oh, no.
That will obviously be looked at by the stewards when the report comes in. But massive there. And we're now down to another one. That means that everyone is going to get points. And I reckon that is absolutely massive for Dido, Terence, because they will be able to go on fresh softs, go to the end. Kyotonic is going to be in great position here because he's going to be leading this race. And yeah, this is massive. This is massive. I cannot. Oh, his wheel died.
His wheel died.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, that is.
I tell you, SJ, that's got to be the worst way to exit yourself out of a race is, your wheel dying.
Oh, that is massive.
There's nothing to feel but a bit hopeless when you're just watching your car on screen career into a wall and there's nothing you can do about it. That's a shame.
That is. I can't believe it. I really can't. And, wow, we are going to have a sprint to the end here. And, well, talked about safety car. And there you go. Will we see a second safety car? No one voted. No one voted at all. And we will see a second safety car. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. So no points, but no one ended up voting in the end of the day. So, right. I think the next prediction is going to be who's going to win this race. That's going to be the next one, isn't it?
I think that's got to be the next prediction, SJ. And look, we see Cooper is not needed to go in for the pits. He's already on the soft, so I wonder whether that was sort of burning a hole in the back of his mind. He's thinking there was going to be another safety. Not as fresh a tyre as obviously all the cars behind him, but 7 laps in, 8 laps in, once we get a restart, he might be able to hold those on and sort of keep good pace through to the end.
Think he can win it?
Be interesting to see what this means for Whiff. Look, he's got the pen, so I think he's done himself out of a win from the outset, unless he can create that gap. But this is a hard track to get a gap on, unless you're DRS swapping, and even then, if you're doing the DRS swap, you've got another car with you. So very difficult track to get a good gap out in front.
Okay, well, I'll tell you something. I think we've got to watch out for Squash Josh and Terence. I'm going to put
I'm going to put down Kyo for the win. I think that climb and that pace and consistency all through, he's done really well to put himself in P2.
Yeah, I can't believe what we've just seen here, that Russian in great position is now out of this race. Massive, unfortunate there. That's so unfortunate. And that hardware issues are never good, unfortunately, but they do happen. And massive points lost there for McLaren as well, which has been a very interesting race for them. They've been pretty good. Kyo getting up there now, Russian getting up there, and then out of the race. Aston Martin losing both of their drivers as well. Obviously, Joyful retiring in P10. And look what happened. This could have happened. Joyful could have had a massive opportunity, served the penalty. Because if you're looking at it now, look, Dido has served his 10. All the guys have served their big penalties. So Dido's got a 3 second now. Angus has got a 3 second. So we've got a massive opportunity to still score some good points. Sebi's got 6. Franz has got 3. Chiokiv's 6. Diddley 6. And Arcade 3. Everyone's going to get points, so there should be no retirements now to the end of this race. The question is who's going to win this race? That's going to be the biggest one. And if you want the predictions, guys, we've got Kyo, Plugger, Whiff, Terence, Squash Josh, or other. So get your predictions in.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting race to the finish there. We'll end up with, about 8 laps to go, I think. Which isn't going to put too much pressure on Cooper's tyres. So Look, he's in with every chance to at least take P1 on track, but I think that penalty is going to drop him down through the order. I don't think he's going to be able to get a gap out from here in that shorter time frame. And as we know, Kai has been really quick behind him. Plugger and Whiff have been working together throughout the race. So, it's entirely possible that those guys will sort of put a bit of work in and push their way back up to the front. As we know, we've probably legitimately got the top six drivers are really in with a chance of a win, maybe excluding Cooper, but we'll see how it rolls through.
Yeah, everyone's saying Cooper for the win. Toodle, that is a
Mm.
big thing to say there. Unfortunately, he does have the 3 second time penalty though, so that will hurt him in this race. But we'll have to wait and see here because we are about to see the safety car coming in, I would reckon. Yes, we are. So we're going to jump on board with this. And yeah, it's going to be a sprint race now. Every single driver on the soft compound tyres. Cooper Bot in charge. Let's go back to our prediction. We've been going back and forth to our prediction tonight. So what happens now as it stands? Plugger is in P3, so if he finishes P3, Whiff needs to finish in P14. That is not happening, so that is going to go to the next race as well. So everything keeps turning and tossing and turning, and well, if Plugger DNS, that makes a massive difference. If Whiff DNS, that makes a massive difference as well. As Plugger goes for the move on Kyotonic, they're going side by
Oh,
side. Ooh, he goes side by side. That was a lovely
oh,
bit of racing there. Plugger tries to get the move done, and he tried to catch Kyotonic napping, but he didn't. And a little bit of wheel banging there, a little bit of aggressiveness. Just love to see it there. As Whiff has dropped down into P4, and he's being bullied by Terence on the right-hand side, and they're going side by side. Whiff has got a little bit more speed in that kick, and he gets the position into P4. Plugger right behind Kyo. Kyo needs to stay with Cooper. He does not want to let him get away. He's got 9.5 tenths. It's 1 second, China. That is it. It's 1 second at the moment. And he is trying to pull away. Cooper is burning everything to pull away. Kyo is trying to stay with him. And this could be interesting. We do not want to lose the DRS here.
yeah, they've got a little gap to close to stay in DRS by the time that pickup zone comes around. So it'll be interesting to see if Cooper can jet his way out of that. Doesn't look like he's quite going to get it done, but look, a 0.8 out in front. That's very surprising. Hopefully, he can keep up that pace and make up for the 3 seconds. It'd be amazing to see Cooper with a win. Obviously, reserving up for the night. But I'm a bit of a skeptical person, SJ. I sort of tend to think that what we've seen throughout the race so far is probably what we're going to see at the end, which is a very close battle for position right through to lap 52.
Yeah, definitely. I think Terence, Whiff needs to be careful of Terence because Terence is trying to pull through. Whiff does have, looks like to be a straight more speed, but Terence is pulling it in there. Kyotonic has pulled it back in the DRS of Cooper, so Cooper in a little bit of a problem here at the moment. He looks like he's going to fall. Oh, he's going to fall all the way down to P6, unfortunately. P7, P6, P7. So, yeah, that's unfortunate for him tonight. But Kyotonic has got Plugger right behind, and he is ready to pounce as well. He's got a lot of battery compared to Kyo, but they are saving the battery. They've got a long way to go still in this race. 7 laps of racing still to go in this race at the moment, and anything can happen here as Kyo does look to go and make the move done on Cooper Bot. Gets the move done. Cooper Bot loses out to Plugger. He's not holding him up there, but Cooper Bot's going to come back at Plugger. Is he going to put pressure on him? No, he's not at the moment. With Matif trying to go for the move. Terence making a bit of a mistake there. Everyone being careful of the brakes. Look at the time front though, because Kyle and Plugger are going side by side there. A little bit of a tap. Plugger gets the move done. Out in front again, but this time he's got Kyle Tonic behind him. Not probably the best spot you really want to be in. As Churkev is out, there's a massive accident in the back there. Churkev has gone, and we've got another safety car. An RK and Churkev.
Oh my!
Incident there with the front wing, and I don't know if we got it. I don't know. I mean, we may have got it, so we'll just see. Laps 46, Trio Kev. Investigation. Investigation.
Well, I absolutely would not have called a third safety, SJ.
No, I wouldn't.
That's
I would not.
very interesting with 6 laps to go.
Yeah, I would not have called that either. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see now how this is going to go. I reckon we're not going to have many because everyone is very, very close together. Look, everyone is, apart from RK, who's 3 seconds down the road, he'll have to change that front wing. He'll have be quicker tyres there. Cooper Bott, though, is on 11 laps soft. I've just realised that. So he is going to. He's going to struggle to try and stay with this pack, I think. They're going to be on a lot fresher tyres. What does he do? If he comes in, he drops himself down into P13. He's got 3 seconds of pens. You know, can he get back out to the front again? That'd be the question. Big
Oh,
decisions.
I
I
think it's a
wouldn't.
bit late.
Yeah, I wouldn't really make it. I really wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. What's he going to do? Let's have a look. No, no one's going to make the change. I'm the only person that we'll
No,
see
he's
come
going to
to the
stay
pits is
on.
RK. He'll be the only one.
Yeah, so now we've got across the entire field of 13 drivers left, we've got just 4 without penalties on track. That's Plugger, Kyo, Whiff, and Terrence. Now that's I find that really impressive given all the battles that these guys have had getting side by side in those twisty corners. You'd have to think that at least 1 or 2 of them would have pushed themselves over the track limit. So I wonder who's got two warnings and yeah, right on the edge of getting the 3 seconds.
Yeah, do you think a little bit of easing off because of the championship on the line there from a few drivers, or do you think they're still going to take it to them? What's your thoughts? You know, we know that Plugger's leading the way. Cooper Bott, he's in a different division. He's helping out tonight. You know, do you think on Terrence, do you think they're going to ease off? They're not going to get involved in this? What do you think coming to the closing stages of this race? Because it is all going to be about DRS and it's all going to be about straight line speed on that last on those last couple of laps. So can you see anything changing up here? Can you see Kyo's really taking it to Plugger at the moment? Whiff is in that P4 spot, and I guarantee that Cooper will move over for him. Can you see any changes happening?
Look, I think with what will we have about 4, 5 laps to go once the safety's in. So as we know that the safety tightens up the pack, and what's going to happen there is everyone's going to feel like they're in for a win, especially with only 13 cars on the field at the moment. But particularly those top 5, maybe 6 drivers, I think they're all going to be really pushing hard to get over the line in P1. Plugger, his job from here will be to maintain his position. So he might actually be sort of slowing down the field as well if he can't get a good jump off that safety restart. I know that would be my strategy at this at the tailing end of this race. If I don't get a jump and leave some people sleeping behind me, I think I would be trying to compact the field a bit and see if I can't force some errors behind me and just give myself a bit of space.
Okay, all right. Well, it's going to be interesting to see because we've got game. Excuse me, he's just gone to the medium tyres there. May have ran out of soft. So we'll get
Mm,
points. We'll get points. And it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to finish because Cooper's on 3. Squash Josh is on 3. So he obviously got a penalty earlier on. He didn't have a penalty earlier on. So that will hurt. But everyone else behind him is on 3. So him, Dido, Angus, Jux on 3. Then you got Sebi on 6. Franz on 3. Deadly on 6 and RK on 3. And it's been a bit of a messy one, hasn't it, for Division 3? And to be honest with you, 1, 2, 3, 4 of these cars have all pit and quit, basically, unfortunately. No, 3,
mm.
1, 2, 3 of these have pit and quit, and 3 of these have DNF'd on track. So we've had a bit of a drama here at Silverstone.
We have. While it was a good start to the race there, it looked like it was all clean. As the race has evolved here, we've got quite a few pens and quite a few non-finishers, which is, look, again, it's disappointing to see, but at least the ratio of people who've exited themselves out versus those who've maybe crashed out, that ratio has sort of improved a bit. But just 13 drivers left on track. So look at a tight little grid on a very wide track. I think there's going to be a lot of overtakes and a lot of pushing in these closing laps.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll tell you something, right? I'm gonna I know your vote's gonna be Tonic Driver of the Day tonight, right? But I'm gonna give my next vote. I'm gonna give my vote to Terence. I think Terence has been brilliant. I think he's done so well. You know, he's got no penalties, um, and yeah, and it's not all about position places, is it? You know, Driver of the Day is about
Mm.
cleanness, overtaking, and I think he's done really well tonight. So yeah, they're the two votes. We'll put the votes in on lap 50 very very soon. We'll put them into the chat, so feel free to vote. There's 20 of you in tonight, which is a bit of a shame. View is a little bit lower. Probably due to the new release of 25, but oh well, and it's we're away, and China, I will let you take it away. And Plugger has gone, and he has gone
Plugger
very very
has gone.
quickly.
He's picked up half a second before the start finish there. So yeah, he's looking to go on the push and create a bit of a gap behind him. So what he's really going to be relying on here is for Whiff to fall down the order. So I'd be keeping a close eye on Whiff's gap to Cooper. Obviously, Cooper will just move out of the way. That's obviously the move there. But Whiff's got a lot of work to do in keeping up with the pack. We can see that he's got really good straight line speed, but he maybe sort of struggles a bit through the corners. And that gap out to Plugger there is sort of tightened up now as we come through this set of corners, down to 0.3 to Kyo. So Kyo's going to keep that pressure up as we go through the race, as you will. Uh, Getting down to Whiff here, keeping it in, sort of tucking himself behind Cooper. And then we've got a 0.4 down to Terence, and it looks like Squash Josh is just out of the DRS. See if he can catch back up in time. But for the better part, most or all the drive. Oh no, Franz has just lost 2 seconds all of a sudden. Might have had a little accident there down further down the pack.
Definitely
So
back
we
up
see a
to.
couple of position changes at the tail end.
Cooper really trying to put the pressure on Kaya, even with that 3 second time penalty. There's been no switcheroo yet for the kicks. Cooper in that P3 position, whiffing that P4. Terence staying with them. And he's in a great position here. He's looking at P4 on track. Great night for Terence. Goes round the outside of Whiff. Tries to get the job done. Does he get it? Yes, he does. Whiff takes it all wrong. He takes the wrong exit there. And Whiff now down into P5. Terence into P4. Terence is now are we gonna see Terence on the podium here? This is gonna be massive as we're seeing Kyo into P2 and Plugger still finding out. What a move from Terence. Ran the outside, but Whiff tries to get it back. Terence is holding his line. Great little battle here between the Alpine and the Kick Sauber there, and RK is out of this race, or has he gone? No, RK has left position, so if we can get him back in, I don't know if we are going to be able to get him back in, but what racing from Terence there. He's actually lost that again to Whiff, but he's taken it to him, isn't he?
Well, at the very least, he's putting enough pressure on Whiff that he's really going to be burning those tyres. I'd like to see what his ERS is sitting at. So we've got Terence at 38%. What's Whiff got on board? We'll check that out in a second, but they're very tightly contended in this. Realistically, actually, in the top 7 or 8 cars, but as we see Whiff get past Terence.
Gets past him again. Squash Josh is going to get involved in this, so is Dido. This is bringing these guys into it. The problem is, these guys are battling. They're still in the DRS, though. They are still in the DRS. And Squash Josh and Dido are going side by side. Williams and Red Bull. There's some great racing. Even though some of these guys have got penalties, there's some really side by side action, which is great to see. And yes, tyres, there you go. 9. Cooper Bott staying on them 16 laps in that P3 spot, doing a great job at the moment. But he has not given the position to his teammate Whiff. This is the interesting thing here, because he's come under extreme pressure in the last couple of laps from Terence in the Alpine. And we've got Guy Sonic. John, I'm going to let you take around the last couple of corners before I take the last lap.
And as we see Cooper's relinquished his position going into lap 51. And Whiff is up in front now, so this is going to be Whiff's chance to have a dive at the top two places. As we get down the order there, Terrence is still keeping in, just point 0.3 behind. And look, he's been on great form through this race, so he has every chance of trying to push himself past Cooper. You'd have to think that Cooper's main role now is going to be to keep Terrence behind and also try and give a little bit of lead space so that those top three can work out who's going to cross the line first as we go side by side. A little bit of a nudge and a tap. Kept it pretty tidy, no damage there that I can see. So Whiff really struggling getting through the corners at the moment, but Cooper's doing the right thing and just sort
Oh,
of trying to
Terence.
stick behind him.
Terence again.
Oh,
Oh, they've had a spin. Oh, they've had a spin. A little bit of contact there that we looked at. Lap 52 there. I'm going to take it away. Here we go. Sonic and Plugger, 3.5 tenths. It's all about them. With Matif is in the battle as well. This is it. It is all about this last lap. And I'm just going to put that in last lap there. Terence. Investigation that could be massive, that could lose him the driver of the day there. We'll have to wait and see here, but here we go. We've got Cryotonic. He is 1.5 tenths. Plugger has got a lot of ERS. So is Whiff. Whiff doesn't have enough. I don't think he's going to be able to do it this time. Unfortunately, I think he's going to stay in that P3 spot. It's all about Kyo and it's all about Plugger. They are about to go. Here we go down the main straight. Here goes Cryotonic. He's going to go for the lead. Does he have it? Does he have the speed? Does he have the pace? Yes, he does. Takes it into Stowe. Plugger into P2. Is Whiff Matif going to be able to fight it? Going into the last couple of corners, Cryotonic is going to be able to hold the line. He's going to have Plugger right behind him. And I think he's going to take the win here at Silverstone. And well done. What a race and what a battle. And he gets the fastest lap. 26 points. And Terrence keeps that P4 spot after he got into a bit of a kerfuffle there earlier on. What an end to that race in Silverstone. And, Cryotonic, I know you've got a couple of minutes left, guys, but if your vote does change, what a drive from him tonight. But yeah, what a final battle. What a final battle between the front three.
mate, I have to give it to Kyo there, getting out in front, mate. He was climbing through that pack, keeping it nice and tidy. He's obviously managed his tyres well throughout the race. He's done the right thing with the pit stops. But the same thing can be said for Terrence. You know, he's had quite a climb up through as well. I think that's going to be a hard driver of the day to call. A very close finish across the line. It's great to see. Even though we've got a few cars out of the mix and just what do we have, 13 across the line. A very tight battle right up to the finish there.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm gonna put this graphic up in a second as we're gonna have to change some numbers up very very soon. But I've got those guys. Hopefully they jump into a chat. People have changed their votings very very quickly there in the closing stages of the votes as well. So Cryotonic taking out P1 there, Plugger taking P2, with Petit taking P3, fastest lap going to Cryotonic there, and unfortunately we lost Hennessy, RJ, Joyful, Zoo, Roshan, unfortunately with the hardware area there, and Trio Kiev as well, and Arcade Gaming will finish in P13 as well due to the disconnection, but he did do 75% of the race, so he is all good. 7 laps to 8. Oh, it's close. It's not